Lohfink 88 to 97 review. What does Lohfink mean when he says it's not difficult to serve and listen to the old gods of Israel's oppressive neighbors, but it's difficult to listen to true revelation? Well, it's easy to succumb to serving our own interest, right? It's easy to go into all those things that I listed as examples of religiosity: xenophobia, nationalism, ethnocentrism, racism, preference for my family to the exclusion of the well-being of others, right? Or my selfish desires, right? It's easy to take the two pieces of cake and leave none for your friend. It's difficult to listen to true revelation, right? I mean, not always. Sometimes we're just graced with a moment of openness to God's will, and we do just love the world and want to help everyone, maybe. But oftentimes it is difficult to have the vision and the honesty with ourselves that the other person is just as important as us. Someone else's family, they have just as much right to the resources that are available as mine does, right? You know, if I eat the cake, that's okay. But if my friend eats the cake, then I'd say, well, I can't believe that you did that. How could you do that to me, right? It is difficult sometimes to realize that every other person is a true person just as important as myself. What good is revealed in the Israelite people through their constant grumbling? Well, if you grumbling again meant they could complain about the revelation. They would complain about hearing God's true desire, the advice he gave them on what they should do if they want to become the true and loving society, right? The Torah. When they grumbled against the prophets who were sharing God's desire for them to be the people of God, what happens? What do you know if they're grumbling? If they're complaining about something, what does that say? If you guys are complaining about the too many questions on the final, what does that mean? It means you read the questions. It means you know what's on the final, right? And not the good that's revealed through the Israelites grumbling. They're actually listening to God's will. They're listening to the advice to become the community of loving persons, even if they're not ready, willing, or able to do it. So that's the good we see when the Israelites grumble against God in all those instances in the Old Testament. So I think by this point you probably have a good idea of the religion and religiosity, right, of the other ancient gods of the Near East, and revelation and faith in Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, right? The other religions were preaching basically self-interest, often of the rich and powerful. They were promoting this through things like nationalism and tribalism, right? Just like today we see politicians or other people come into power through promoting nationalistic feelings or ethnocentric feelings or racist impulses. My group, our group is better than every other group. Our group is more important than every other group, or something like that. You see this. And also, you see the worshiping of natural forces, which are localized. And so you get a world in which things come from different places and they're different kind of things, and they don't necessarily all go together. However, right, enough about religiosity. Let's talk about revelation or faith in Yahweh. In this vision of the divine, what do we see? We see that all people have inherent human dignity. My family is not more important than your family. The rich are not more important than the poor. Every person has the right to the resources to take care of themselves and others. And if they can't, then the rest of us help out and take care of them. And not because someone told us to, and not because we're afraid of the consequences if we don't. It's voluntary. It's a community of free and loving persons. All right, study for the final.